Good afternoon and welcome to Patriot Pets. My name is Lake Green and today we are in Staten Island, New York, Tottenville, checking out the Conference House built by Christopher Billopp in 1680. Let's check it out. So as you can see, we are literally right in the mouth of the Raritan Bay, where the Raritan Bay opens up and meets the Arthur Kill, or the Kill Van Kull as it is known, the body of water that divides Staten Island from northern New Jersey. So the house right behind me, as I stated, was built in 1680 by Christopher Billopp, a man named Captain Christopher Billopp. He was a very wealthy man. He came over to New York when the English took control of the colony, or actually 10 years after the English took control of the New Netherlands colony in 1674, with the newly appointed, at the time, governor of New York, the royal governor named Edmund Andros. And he was a big part of his early staff here. And of course, it's all about royalty and all about your connections. And in 1676, just 2 years later, he obtained a tract for 623 acres of land right here on this spot in Staten Island. And just a couple of years later, had the house constructed. Pretty much the big part of the story of this house's history came on September 11th, 1776, when John Adams, Benjamin Franklin, and Edward Rutledge, 3 delegates from the Continental Congress, arrived at this spot, being ferried across behind us from Perth Amboy, and met with Lord Admiral Richard Howe, the commander of the English Navy, in a final and only peace negotiation during the American Revolution. Just about 10 to 12 days prior, the Battle of Brooklyn had taken place, and a lot of blood had been shed just across the Narrows. And they had tried in vain, the English, to, under the direction of King George, to try to negotiate with the Continental Congress. The American nation, though, had already declared independence 2 months prior, and the only way they wanted to sue for peace was if they could be allowed to be independent. And of course, the British wanted none of that. So thus, the negotiations went nowhere. So as I said, this house was built in 1680, and you could tell the immaculate architecture simply because look at the field stone here. All that is handwork, and all these stones were likely just pulled out of the ground right here on Staten Island. And you could tell the man, Christopher Billopp, had immense wealth because of the 2 chimney masts. Back in the day, you were taxed on the amount of chimneys you had by the crown. And a lot of people circumvented this by making only one mast that actually, one central mast that actually was connected to other rooms, so they were able to have multiple chimneys with one mast. But here, they have 2 masts. So you could tell he's got money. And about 7 years after this house was built in 1687, his land holdings expanded to almost 1,130 acres right here on Staten Island. Finally, the last noteworthy piece of information that I'm going to put on the video, more in the description, is of the last generation of Billopps living in this house. And that was of Colonel Christopher Billopp, same name as the founder of this estate. The estate was called Bentley Manor, as was common around most of Staten Island at that time. A lot of wealthy Englishmen were granted tracts of land on Staten Island. A prime example of another neighborhood that is still to this day named after the original estate would be Castleton Corners, named after the initial estate of Thomas Dungan, one of the early governors of the province of New York. But Colonel Christopher Billopp was the last Billopp to live on this estate. He was a staunch loyalist during the American Revolution. Like most Tories on Staten Island, and like most of Staten Island, there was, firmly loyalist territory. And Because of its proximity, of course, right across the Raritan River, right across the bay here, and the Kill Van Kull from New Jersey, he was treated pretty badly by the New Jersey militia. He was actually captured from his manor twice on 2 different occasions. But at the end of the war, of course, like all the loyalists, he was forced to leave the country and relocate in Canada. This estate was, of course, confiscated and auctioned off in 1784. Thanks so much for watching. Rate, comment, subscribe, and be sure to check out the Conference House in Staten Island, New York on your own time. I'm Lake Green with Patriot Pats. Have a wonderful day.